Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Shawna Khalafi. We're continuing to follow the situation in Iran as hundreds of people, according to activists, have been killed in protests there. And now President Trump putting this out on social media. This is from the White House saying, effective immediately, any country doing business with the Islamic Republic of Iran will pay a tariff of 25% on any and all business being done with the United States of America. This order is final and conclusive from President Donald Trump. So President Trump announcing that 25% tariff on any country doing business with the Islamic Republic of Iran. And of course, we know those protests within Iran continue, as well as here in the U.S., calling for regime change and an end to the Islamic Republic. We want to show you a little bit of video from some of those protests in Iran right now. The White House is also weighing its options as this unrest in Iran is reaching a boiling point. Those human rights groups saying hundreds of anti-regime protesters have already been killed, thousands jailed. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen has the latest.
Chaos in cities across Iran. What began as protests over its weakened economy has brought a harsh and deadly crackdown by the regime. Human rights groups estimate hundreds of people have been killed and thousands more have been imprisoned. The government has shut down phone lines and internet. President Trump says the U.S. is prepared to act.
The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options.
The president and his team have reportedly been weighing options ranging from cyber attacks to direct military strikes. Iran has threatened retaliation. But despite the war of words, both sides appear willing to talk.
Iran called to negotiate.
The greatest leverage the regime had just several months ago was their nuclear program, which President Trump and the United States military totally obliterated through Operation Midnight Hammer.
Democrats have denounced the Iranian regime's actions, but want the president to come to Congress before any potential military action.
They are fighting for their own freedom and for a new type of country. So we should be very thoughtful about how or why or when we get involved. And President Trump should not be using our troops or having boots on the ground without the prior authorization of Congress.
President Trump is reportedly meeting with his national security team Tuesday to go over options. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
We just told you about President Trump imposing a 25% tariff for companies doing business with Iran and the United States. We also have something new from the U.S. Embassy in Iran. They're urging any U.S. citizens within the country to leave. This is what they say. Leave Iran now. Have plan for departing Iran that does not rely on U.S. government help. They say if you cannot leave, find a secure location within your residence or another safe building. Have a supply of food, water, medication, and other essential items. They also warn U.S. citizens within Iran to avoid those demonstrations and to monitor local media for breaking news. However, we know that there is an internet and phone line blackout that has been going on there for several days, so it may be hard for them to receive these communications. The U.S. Embassy in Iran also warning about possible land border closures, although most of those borders still remain open. That could change, though, as this situation escalates. We've also seen many protests here in the U.S. calling for regime change in Iran. One yesterday in L.A. involving a big group of demonstrators and a U-Haul truck driving into that group. We're going to have more on that situation as LAPD is investigating the motive and exactly what happened there. We're going to have more on that coming up later in the show.